I love the way the First Gen Lounge makes me feel.
Because it creates a space where I belong.
Where we're able to create community.
The fact that it's a community.
It's a safe place.
It also gives me a place to understand different perspectives.
The stories of these individuals prescribe transformational perspective.
I receive encouragement, enlightenment, empowerment.
And also serve as a catalyst to just keep going.
Where we're able to be our true selves.
I'm allowed to be an unapologetic first gen.
And above all else, tell our story.
And every episode is unique.
I love it.
I'm your host, Dr. Eve, and I'd like to welcome you to the First Gen Lounge. Welcome back. Welcome back. And if you are new, I would like to say hello to you too, boo. So glad to have you here, joining this space, sharing these moments, becoming better with each day, each moment. Just love it. So I just thought that I would stop by today to remind you that everything is going to be okay. For whatever reason, that it may be, and I just always trust that all things are for a reason, right? But I've just been really feeling compelled to drop in here and say to you, whoever needs to hear it, that everything is going to be okay. I can't even begin to list out all the things that I have experienced, even over the past few years, that have been challenges to me where I may not have been able to see my way out of it initially. However, I got through it and I was still standing on the other side of the storm. And that's what I want you to remember now, that when you're in the middle of a storm, it may not feel like you're going to get through it, but just because you don't feel like it doesn't mean you won't. You really have to remember that you are strong enough to survive whatever it is that comes your way. And it may not be comfortable. It's not supposed to be when it's a storm, right? But it's in the heart of a storm where you learn how to stand solid, plant your feet into the ground. And more importantly, to be patient with yourself as you're going through whatever you're going through, because you're only human. Life happens. It happens to all of us. And we don't always like what happens, but are we supposed to know? Because life is a delicate balance of things that are wonderful and things that are not so wonderful. However, all of it makes you. It makes you into who you are. It shapes your beliefs. It shapes how you show up in the world. It all shapes you. But when you're going through storms in particular, take the pressure off of yourself to try to figure out what it means and why you're going through the storm. Speaking from experience, I can think about the times in my life where I've been going through something and I've done so much to try to get the answers. Oh, I just need to know what's going on and why is this happening to me? You may not know right then and there, but trust and believe me when I say there will come a day when that moment in time, it would all make sense. And it'll give you the clarity that you need to continue to navigate the journey ahead. One of the things I've had to learn over the course of my life is to not tell people that it's okay, right? I remember there was a time where maybe a friend was going through something and I'd be like, it's okay, it's okay. And I changed that language to start saying it's going to be okay. Because when you're going through something that's a hardship, something that's challenging, something that is painful, whatever it may be, it's anything other than ideal, right? It's something to really think that right now it's not okay. And it's okay that it's not okay. Be okay with not being okay. But also, when we think about supporting others around us, we too have to be okay with people not being okay when they're going through things. It's a matter of having grace to not only give grace, to ourselves, but to others, because we tell people that it's okay when they're going through things and essentially invalidate their feelings. And if I'm honest, even doing that invalidates their experience as though they should be okay when they're not. And so changing the language for me has been important to be able to acknowledge and be present with people with whom I care about, to say, right now, it's not okay. But I want to remind you, as you are going through whatever this storm is, whatever this pain and suffering may be for this moment, that you will be okay. And you can say, well, how is that different, from saying that you are okay? Because the you will, in my opinion, it empowers them. It comforts them to know that the trouble won't last always. It feels like I'm being one of those old folks right now. Shout out to the old folks. But it's one of those things where it's giving of the hope and the restoration, the something to hold on to know that right now it's not okay, but it will be okay. And sometimes we do need to be reminded of that. So when I have friends who are going through things, I don't say, oh, you okay? Oh, you're fine. You will be. But right now I recognize that you're not. So what can I do to support you? Right. So just reframing what it looks like, and grateful to have people in my space. And I would even say an amazing therapist who I have talked about many times, to this point, to even help me be not okay with, because I don't even tell myself you're okay anymore. I say you're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Everything will work itself out. And then doing that allows me to just get through the moment and to sit in it. And here's the other thing about not being okay about going through storms. We are allowed to sit in them. We shouldn't rush ourselves through storms. We shouldn't rush ourselves to the other side, because we shouldn't miss whatever is happening in its fullness that we're supposed to take from these moments in life. So don't rush your storms. And it may seem like, ooh, that seems so crazy. No, but really, walk with me here. Do you rush your happy moments? Do you rush moments of pleasure and great satisfaction? You don't. At least I don't think you typically do. I'm going to say I don't. Let me not speak for you. I'm going to say that I don't. So no more than what we rushed moments of triumph should we rush moments of trial. We should treat both the same. And that's because they're both a part of our life. It's a part of life. It's something I even think of now. And I'm sure that I've said this to you before, but the sun has the moon, yin has yang, right? Everything has its light and darkness. And I told my brother a few weeks ago in a conversation, I was like, isn't it funny how we can be standing fully in the sun, in light, and still it casts a shadow. So there's still darkness, even in total light. And that just reminds me that our lives can still be light and filled with light, and we can be light, but it doesn't excuse us as people from having moments and times that are dark, that are not comfortable or okay, but yet they will be okay. So for you who needs it, be okay again right now, with not being okay. Be okay with this is just a part of life, having a perspective. Be okay with the fact again that you may not understand what all of this is for right now, but one day you will. One day it'll make sense. But right now, it's cool to be completely lost. It's okay to be, disappointed and frustrated and angry or whatever you may be with the storms or situations that are happening. But I would also say this to you. When the storms come, hear me on this, it's not because you are a bad person or because you have done something wrong. Every person, every being that walks the face of this earth, we all have our storms. We all have our battles to fight. So be reminded in moments of hardship and adversity that you're not by yourself. You're not alone. And again, not taken away from your experience, but just to remind you that sometimes when you're going through a storm, it can feel so lonely. It can feel so cringy, if that's a good word to say, right? It can be so easy to think that nobody else understands. And I'm going to just tell you now, they may not understand it like you do. That is very true. But what I don't want you to miss is knowing that there are people who can empathize with the fact that you're going through something that may not be the best thing in life to go through right now, but you're never alone. That's really the point. You're never, ever, ever alone. You're never alone. I'm going to say that you are never by yourself. So on that note, I want you to go through what you go through and do what you got to do to get through it. But trust and believe, as a wise man, actually Dr. King, my Dr. King, not Martin Luther King, but my Dr. King, as he's told me often over the course of the time we've been together, and we've been together for a minute now, right? But he said it to me, and I say it to myself so often, it won't be like this always. So when I find myself in situations that are less than ideal, I say those words and I get through. It won't be like this always. And if you hadn't noticed, it's also why I tell you in every show, every episode, every email, everything that I do to keep pressing forward. Press on. Press on anyhow. Press on, because you will be okay. And, you know, the rain falls, but even when the rain falls, the plants grow. You know, the night falls, but even when the night falls, we sleep. And sleep is one of the most restorative things that we can do for ourselves. So even in darkness, right, when we close our eyes and there's darkness, we are being restored in some way. And I'll be for real, that just came to me. Those thoughts, they just came to me like, wow, that's something to think about. And I do know of another thing, you know, they say at night when it becomes night, darkness is the only thing that can make the stars shine. So in some way, what is darkness and what is light, we find beauty in both if we allow ourselves to. So yeah, be good to yourself. Be good to the people around you. Know that I see you, I love you, I stand with you. And if it's not right now, eventually everything will be okay. On that note, that's all I've got for you today. I hope that was what you needed and more. Keep your head up. Keep pressing forward. I'm out.